Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, let's take few minutes to clarify ourselves how this practice can use for our day-to-day life, and at the same time, how we can gain our spiritual development through the conventional life. So always you have to remember that this conventional wisdom and eternal wisdom, this both interconnected. Only practice point of view, only to learn, we separate this. So otherwise, so what you mentally understand, you can't categorize physically in this outside world. So this body and mind and the material world, this all interconnected. So always you have to remember that, because otherwise you always try to go against the world. You always try to go against this material world or the conventional world, but you are just a part of it. So that's why a little bit you have to be harnessed with any situation and with the environment. So when it comes to practice meditation, basically one of the major important skill that we trying to develop is awareness. So that awareness doesn't mean you just sit down in one place and maybe you start to keep thinking about something or keep following some kind of thoughts. So awareness means here, another way to understand this, non-attachment towards your own thoughts. Because the very nature of the thoughts, always trying to clinging to something, hold it to something. And when the thoughts arise, it's always pondering, searching to settle down with something and hold it to it, grasping to it. This nature, it's once you clinging to it, something, it's going to take you to another, it's going to take you to another. It never going to take you to any kind of inner development, but still you keep running. It's kind of like you are keep running on a treadmill, the same place, but you can sweat, you can burn the energy, but you're not going to go anywhere. Another thing is, it's kind of like you putting a kind of like this VR set. You sit on the same place, and but you can experience, and sometimes this people like motorcycle games, car racing, putting the VR set, you driving, and it look like you are really driving it, but you are at the same place. If some other people look from the outside, they laugh. Sometimes that our desire, our clinging, also like that. So always remember, there are positive and negative desires. So the very negative desire, unprofitable desire, it never allow you to grow. It make you kind of like a frozen, freeze. And it never allow you to navigate. It never allow you to turn or U-turn. That's a kind of like a very nature of this negative desire, grasping, clinging. So then it is your responsibility to know, so whatever that you have, whatever you clinging to something, if it is allow you to freeze, hold it to something, then you have to be careful. So awareness means ability to let go, one way. And another thing is basically it's mean freedom from clinging, awareness. Because when you have the intention to clinging, that's mean when your thoughts go looking for clinging, it always create a struggle. So then clinging has a way to struggle with the awareness also. And when you have the conscious decision to not to clinging to anything but to let it happens, little by little, your mind going to become stronger and free. That is where you gain the clarity. There are many other ways, but this is a one avenue. This is a one way that you can practice. Not to clinging. And once you have that, the very first thing that you can see, you can recognize that all the thoughts arise in you, all the feelings arise in you. When the doubt arise in you, fear arise in you, can recognize. And recognition, of course, we recognize most of time in day-to-day life, but when the awareness becomes sharp, and when you have the ability to not to clinging to thoughts, or the desires. What happened? The awareness becomes sharper, and with that sharp awareness, when you recognize again and again, it kind of like a filtering yourself, that your own awareness. That is what we do by practicing, filtering our own awareness. In the beginning, we observe inhalation, exhalation, beginning, middle, end, and follow the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. Sometimes inhalation, exhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. So now more than the first level, you can see more and more and more details. So that's all come out of filtering your own awareness, because you are not holding, you are not categorizing, you are not clinging to any moment of experience. You become detached from it. And then by the time you are capable to see how the thoughts arise, and once you can see how thoughts arise, you don't need to do anything. Because whatever arises itself, it will go away. That is where there is no struggle to resist. Only thing is, you have to learn to see without interfering. But it is very hard for us, because we have nature always try to interfere. Mentally, physically, verbally, we always interfering. So now practicing means yourself, you withdraw from that interference nature. You withdraw from that clinging, grasping, holding. So whatever arises, you don't hold, you withdraw from that. So that itself creates a kind of like a liberation. So liberation means not from the world. Liberation means you liberate your own awareness, liberate from your own thoughts. Because when you are not clinging to thoughts, that thoughts itself go away. So anymore, it's not going to bother you. It's not going to keep coming behind you. So once you hold it, once you restart to react, then things happen. So that's why once you know this method, silently you can develop yourself and you can develop your own freedom inside within your own mind. But sometimes it takes time. It's a gradual cultivation. Remember, overnight you can't do it. Don't try to do it by force. You don't need to give a hard time. You cannot abuse your own mind. Remember that. One of the mistake that most of time we do when we start to practice, especially meditation, yoga, any other physical activities, sometimes we abuse ourselves because we are not patient. We can't just go with the time. Sometimes we are so hurried. We want result right away, right away. No. The simple example is these fine trees and the oak tree. So the fine trees grow very fast, and oak tree, it takes time. And the fine trees cannot give that much shade. But the oak tree, it takes time, but at the same time it start to give more shade. And by the time when any kind of weather situation come, the oak trees cannot, the fine trees cannot hold it to this heavy, hard wind and weather. But the oak tree is not like that. It becomes more solid, grounded, and it it has ability to live kind of like 100 years. But the fine tree is not like that. They cannot live like that much longer. And at the same time, if anybody make furnitures, the fine trees, you can make things, but it is very cheap. It's not that much strong. But the oak trees, if you make any furniture by oak trees, it's very expensive. And it has ability to hold long time period. But the basic principle you have to remember, it takes time. So to get some value, sometimes you have to put your effort little by little, and you have to be patient. And then by the time you allow it to grow. So this gradual cultivation, the mind the same. Because liberation or the nibbana or enlightenment is the highest and ultimate. And sometimes as an idea, as a thought, maybe you clinging to some kind of viewpoint, and then you try to gain it. You try to get it. And so that's why sometimes your own spiritual practice is a kind of like a byproduct of your egocentric, self-centered mind. So maybe your spiritual practice, your idea of the freedom, your idea of liberation, your idea of transformation, your idea of change, your idea of nibbana, your idea of enlightenment itself is the place to protect your egocentric, self-centered mind. Be careful about it. Because if you get into that trap, there's no way that you're going to find freedom. Because what you believe as freedom create the prison. Then how are you going to get out of it? Because the very first thing, to get out of the prison, you have to recognize you are in the prison. To get out of any kind of difficulties, first you have to accept and you have to recognize you are in some kind of difficulties. So if you don't recognize that, how are you going to come out? So that's why it is the highest and ultimate. So then, don't look for shortcuts. Don't be hurried to get into the final result. Don't, when you practice, don't look for outcome. Don't have the desire to reach to the end point. Always you have to give your best to the present moment of practice. Once it becomes clear, once it settles down with the moment of practice, once you have the 100% balance, once you have the 100% settling down with your body and mind together, then once your awareness become more clear, and then little by little, you can go to the next step. So that's why always remember, develop this gradual process. And when you practice little by little, step by step, recognize yourself and filter it right away, that what you recognize in that very place, recognize or filter it. Because the reason, sometimes we recognize to memorize. So that's how you see something for the first time. Maybe you recognize this, and the very next time when you see this, right away you can you can recognize this. Because the very nature of the mind, whatever with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, these faculties, whatever we experience, mind has nature to hold it as memory. So then when the very next time, that memory will help you to understand it be easy. That's why second time, third time, fourth time, once it become familiar, it's become kind of like autopilot. So recognition come, that's mean your memory start to work with you. But don't try to memorize like that way. There is another way, because when it comes to sati or the awareness, this it interpreted as a memory. So how it happened? When you have the very clear, that means direct perception, clear comprehension, conscious interference directly without your previous memory. So that way also, whatever you experience, you recognize it. There are a lot of things in your life still in your memory, but when it happened, you never had the idea to remember it. But still, when you are fully engaged with that moment, it you are still remember that moment. So same thing when it comes to this very moment, if you are capable to fully engage, there is nothing to memorize, because itself it becomes the memory. So if you are not clinging, and if you have the awareness to see your mind, you become free, and that freedom itself help you to filter again and again and again and again, and recognize things very clearly as it is. And then you can go to the vipassana level and developing critical, analytical, logical understanding, and observe something from each and every angle without any technique. Because now you have the mind, very sharp and clear mind. And then you can see how things come to be as they are. And fundamentally, finally, you can see the change. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line. So be comfortable with your posture. And scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Sopatveva. Oh, may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we are spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. And then by the time, step by step, try to be aware and clear with your recognition. Do nothing extra. So deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself naturally. Just recognize it. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all 6 directions at once. like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Also, by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya Dhamma Anudhamma Patipattiya Buddham Pujemi Dhammang Pujemi Sanghang Pujemi Addaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadi Maranam Ha Paribunjisami Idamme Punya Kammang Asavakkaya Vang Hotu Sabba Dukkha Pamanchatu. Bless you.